It's a little bit hard to see what's going on here because of the poor quality of the video, but what you're seeing is what appears to be a man being thrown about by some invisible entity or force. Let's see what the article says here. Jose Manuel Rios Morales, that was a strange way of saying that name, a Colombian mayor of Armenia, has posted a video on Facebook featuring bizarre footage of an alleged paranormal attack. The footage shows a security guard who seems to be thrown about and dragged around by an invisible entity. Morales has since called for a little bit of divine intervention to help remove any malicious forces from the area. Quote, I want to give everyone a little peace of mind and let them know that, in the company of the bishop and other religious leaders, we will bring God's blessing to every corner of this workplace. We ask for respect and a union in prayer, and we assure you that nothing can steal our peace and tranquility, because we are protected by the hand of our Lord. Close quote. Morales warned the people of Armenia not to visit his office until the priests have completed the cleansing. Hello, and welcome to Strange Times number 34, the second last one of the series. I hope everyone's doing okay. Things are going pretty good here, thanks. Just in case anyone asked. The weather's starting to get warm. Just got back from the beach. Went fishing. Didn't catch anything. Didn't even get a bite. But it was a good day anyway. Beautiful weather. Anyway, let's get back into this video. This Poltergeist video. Looks a bit cheesy, eh? To be honest. It looks like he's just throwing himself around. But the fact that the mayor has put his reputation on the line here by backing up this video, so either the mayor might be in on it and it's some sort of, prank to try and appeal to his electorate, get some of those sweet little votes going his way, or possibly he knows the person involved and he knows that this person is not a prankster, and in the mayor's opinion, this is a real event. And so he's genuinely concerned about, this poltergeist hurting people. So he's doing what he thinks is best and bringing in the church, bringing in his bishop mate and the priests. It'd be interesting to know if there's been any activity reported before this happened. Is it a known hotspot, or I don't know if hotspot's the right word, if it's a known haunting. Got a couple of stories on ghosts today, actually. On angry poltergeist-type ghosts. This next one, for instance, is called Ghost Attacks Woman's Buttocks. A woman who believes a ghost attacked her has called in the services of a psychic medium to cleanse her home. 21-year-old Leah Lewis, who lives with her mother in Staffordshire, England, believes that she was attacked by an unseen supernatural entity while she was taking a shower. Quote, I didn't feel anything at all until I saw the scratches when I was drying myself, she recalled. I told my mum, and she said, I think I need to contact Ian Griffiths, the psychic medium. Close quote. Some of Leah's colleagues have speculated that the ghost could be that of a hostile and aggressive man who was murdered in the local area and may have followed her home from work. Prior to the attack, she had also reported seeing a tall, bald man leaving one of the bedrooms in the house, as well as experiencing the presence of a man breathing down her ear. She also heard the sound of someone rummaging in her mum's wardrobe, yet nobody was there. Quote, with her now being physically harmed, I thought enough is enough and I needed to do something about it, said her mother, Colette. I asked around my friends and they asked their friends, and I got quite a few recommendations for Ian Griffiths. When Ian came to our house, he was able to describe my brother's bedroom in detail, and he hadn't even been in, said Leah. He went into my mum's bedroom and went straight to the wardrobe, and he said he could sense activity. He confirmed everything that we had experienced, and then he passed the man over to the other side. Well, those scratches are actually pretty common in hauntings. Usually, though, it varies. Sometimes they feel nothing, but often they feel a burning sensation when it's happening. I remember years ago, I think it was on Sightings, that old show, there was footage of a guy who felt a burning sensation. This is in a haunted house. And he felt this burning sensation, I think might have been on his chest or his back. I can't remember where it was. So I do remember seeing, though, just on his skin somewhere, there was these welts, like there was these red marks that formed, and then they raised up into welts, and then blood started coming out, like it wasn't pouring out, but blood started forming on the welts, and it was like, holy moly. So this appears to be like a real phenomenon. It's kind of funny that the ghost scratched her bum, though. I was just thinking about how that might happen from the ghost's perspective. This is just obviously pure speculation. But I wonder if, like from the ghost world, so to speak, if they just take like one swipe and scratch you across the chest or something, and then it just takes it takes a little while for that to actually manifest in the physical world. Another thought just occurred to me too. I remember reading the skeptic's point of view of this manifestation of scratches in hauntings, and they came up with a very plausible explanation, because when you scratch yourself, it does take a little while for those welts to raise up and for the blood to come out, if it's a hard enough scratch. It doesn't just instantly appear, so it could be easily faked as well. Before I go into this next article, I just wanted to show you this picture. Some of you guys old enough might remember rods, that bizarre claim that there's these little animals that flew around in the sky and they were invisible, but for some reason cameras could see them. I was just going through pictures looking for images to use for this video, and I came across this. I think the people claim that this is a ghost form. But yeah, I always thought that rods thing was just stupid. Yeah, to me it just always looked like an insect. It's similar to that skywriting that you can do with a sparkler. If you move it fast enough, it leaves that trail. So this is just the same thing, but with an insect. Okay, moving on. I've got yet another poltergeist story for you. Family sleeps on balcony to escape ghost. When a couple named Patricia and David moved into their new apartment in France last year, they were initially very pleased with their new accommodation. But before long, however, the building, which was originally a hangar before being converted into apartments, started to take on a more sinister atmosphere, thanks to a spate of paranormal occurrences that left the couple struggling to find peace of mind. Quote, "It started with black shadows. The lights randomly go out. The TV turns on by itself. The phone freezes for no reason. The dishes make strange noises, etc." Close quote. Then they called in a medium to investigate. They were told that the apartment was haunted by the hostile spirit of a 19th century woman who was trapped there and wanted them to leave. Terrified of the aggressive spook and unable to simply move to another apartment, the couple took matters into their own hands and decided to sleep outside on the balcony in a tent. They have since maintained this unusual sleeping arrangement for over a month. That poor family must be terrified. Imagine being so scared of a ghost, and I must admit I probably would be the same, that you have to sleep outside. And those black shadows turn up in all sorts of paranormal phenomena, especially hauntings, but they're in the more strange, what I call interdimensional hauntings, which is those cases like Skinwalker Ranch and the Black Forest. Those hauntings have all of the phenomena. They have UFOs, dogmen, Bigfoot, orbs, and shadow men, among other strange phenomena. And so I wonder what's going on with them. There's even some good photos of shadow creatures. Everyone bags out on Stan Romanek, and I can understand why he got charged for some pretty foul crimes. And also, obviously, he got caught faking this phenomena. Like, he's trying to do I won't go into it. I won't go into it right now because I actually want to do a video on him. But he's got some really good photos of these. Well, it's not him. It's a paranormal investigator that came to his house to investigate. And this guy's got some really good photos of these shadows. And one of the shadows is actually holding a remote control, a TV remote control. So orbs and black shadows, these are the two most common things in paranormal research, in my opinion. After reading multiple stories, after reading a huge amount of stories, those two things are very common throughout all paranormal phenomena. Okay, hopefully you followed that. I'm a bit of a waffler today. I was a little bit all over the place there. Alright, moving on now. Right, so we've got a UFO sighting here. No black shadows in this one though. Green UFO sighted by multiple witnesses. Late on July 30, pilots of two separate aircrafts, one military and one commercial, reported seeing a mysterious green UFO vanish into the clouds over the Gulf of St. Lawrence on the Atlantic coast of Canada. According to a report posted on August 11 to the Canadian government's aviation incident database, both flights witnessed a bright green flying object that flew into a cloud and then disappeared. The object did not impact the operations of either flight, the report noted. One of the aircrafts that reported the sighting was a Canadian military plane flying from a base in Ontario to Cologne, Germany. The passenger flight was a KLM Royal Dutch Airlines plane flying from Boston to Amsterdam. Stephen Watkins, an aviation and shipping researcher, looked at transponder data from the two flights and saw that the military plane climbed over 1,000 feet in altitude at the time of the sighting, possibly to avoid the object or get a closer look at it. Quote, "Yes, I know the UFO sighting would have been at the early stage of the Perseid meteor shower, but don't be a buzzkill." Close quote. And the Canadian Aviation Report tagged the incident with the catch-all label, weather balloon, meteor, rocket, UFO. It would seem the Canadian aviation authorities have a sense of humour, and therefore not ruling out that a space rock was the possible culprit. Having trouble talking today. So that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of detail in this report. And meteors are often reported as green. There was a green one that just went over Australia fairly recently, about 6 months ago or so. So that's probably what it was. It was probably a meteor. But it makes you wonder, what would have happened if that meteor hit one of the planes? And I wonder if that's ever happened. Now I've got a cryptid for you. It's a lesser known cryptid, but it's basically just a Bigfoot. Sounds like an uglier version of Bigfoot. Mysterious howls in El Paso County. The Horizon City Monster. In early July 2021, Monica, a DJ at Kiss 93.1 FM, was part of a cast for Viva, performing at El Paso's McKelligan Amphitheatre, when she and the rest of the cast heard an eerie howl rolling through the McKelligan Canyon. Quote, "It must have been around 7-ish at the time, when out of nowhere, I heard what amounted to a screaming, howling screech in the foreground. Thinking maybe someone was on their phone, I shrugged it off, but then a few minutes later, I heard it again, and even asked the cast to stay quiet, to see if they could listen to it too. A minute later, sure enough, the howls came back. It was one long one, followed by a few short ones." Close quote. After a bit of research, Monica discovered the legend of the Horizon City Monster. Horizon City is nearby to El Paso. Horizon City resident Cecilia Montanez, who witnessed the creature in 2001 and then wrote about it in 2003 in the local paper, witnessed a hairy figure crouched over a dead coyote, which then stood upright and walked up a nearby mesquite. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. Mesquite? A mesquite mound. And eventually appeared to vanish into the ground. Returning a day later, there was no coyote, no footprints, and no cave or depression that the monster could have disappeared into. This was before everyone had a cell phone camera, so there were no pictures. Montanez did her own investigation and found a 1975 story in the El Paso Times about 3 teenagers who had allegedly witnessed a gorilla-like creature near Horizon City Golf Course. A deputy sheriff found a single footprint which appeared to have been dug. It was through this story that the legend of the Horizon City monster was born. Quote, local witnesses say that the monster in question is between 7 to 8 feet tall, with broad shoulders and an elongated head. Montanez added that the entities have very short hair and are a faded brownish maroon color, and they have mouths resembling those of bulldogs. Other witnesses have attested that the creatures can be seen late at night as they drink water from Lake El Paso. And others still have said that they have heard the creatures emitting humming sounds when they were driving through East Lake Boulevard, and that they can tell when the monsters are around due to their noxious odor. Close quote. Monica couldn't say what the creature looked like, but she did find a recording of another howl that she says sounded like what she and her fellow cast members heard, and this is the recording that she mentioned.
Oh my God.
He doesn't sound very happy. And now I'm going to finish up this video with a short, creepy little story about trolls. The busy little trolls. The encounters started shortly after I moved into a second-story apartment. All my encounters happened late at night. I never knew why I would wake up, but when I did, I saw some very disturbing things. Every time it was the same thing. Short, about 3.5 feet tall, and fat. They were creatures walking quickly up and down the hallway. Being very dark, I could only see their outlines. The closest thing to compare them to are trolls. They never paid me any attention. They seemed to be very busy. At what, I don't know. I would get the feeling that they were taking something that belonged to me, and knew that I had to stop them and get it back. When I would try to get up, I was always paralyzed and also unable to speak. I would try to yell, but could only get out little grunts. I had this experience about 20 times in a 3-year period. The only time I wasn't paralyzed was the first night. I was asleep on my sofa. I woke up and saw the first creature. Of course, I didn't believe my eyes, but then 3 more went scurrying by, and so I jumped at them. I forgot about my coffee table and I fell over, smacking my shoulder into the door jamb. When I landed, I saw about 10 of these things, 10 feet away. They walked away farther down the hall and then vanished. On another night I woke up with the feeling that the little guys were back, but I didn't see anything. I closed my eyes and then briefly opened them again and saw a taller, dark figure peering at me, leaning its upper body around the door frame. I jumped up and was surprised I wasn't paralyzed, and so was the figure at the door. My heart was beating so fast and I felt strong, so I chased the figure down the hallway toward the top of the stairwell. I saw the back of the figure the whole time that I was running down the hall, until it vanished into the outside wall. I still don't know what it was in my apartment, but I think they were evil. And so that concludes Strange Times number 34. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be seeing you again soon. See ya.